Hey everyone, thanks for watching. I have a show for you today that I have been looking forward to recording for probably 6 months or so. I have my friend Don Costa with me. How you doing this morning, Don?
I'm doing good. I'm doing really, really good.
Excellent. So you may, if you haven't heard of Don, you're going to love this video and you're going to check him out. If you have heard of Don, you know what to expect. He is big time in the business. He's doing very impressive things. He gives back via a podcast called Flip Talk. And like me, he has been in the business through a complete cycle. So a lot of people we talk to have only been investing the last 5 or 6 years and have only known the good times, right? It's one thing to either buy wholesale or a flip in a seller's market where time helps you. We have both seen the downside and when it goes to a buyer's market and bad things happen. So I knew this would be a fun show. But before we get into all of that, Don, why don't you tell the people who you are, where you invest, a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just an everyday guy. I'm a father of 3, husband. I am in Fresno, California, which is the California Central Valley. When people hear California, they think, inflated prices, and Fresno really is more like the rest of the country. You know that you invest in Fresno yourself. So it's probably priced a little bit too high to be a good rental market, but it is still a affordable market. So I'm a rehabber by nature, by trade. I started rehabbing back in around 2003. And last year we took a big swing at wholesaling. We did 58 wholesales our first year as a full-blown wholesaler and rehabber, and just trying to do my thing.
Yeah. Well, one thing that people will see throughout this episode or show is you're a humble guy and you're a giver, modest, all of that. You are big time in the business, right? In the Fresno market, I've been there for 15 or 16 years now as a buy and hold landlord, as you know. I've seen lots of things, but let's talk about your business today so everybody understands it's substantial. There's no reason to hide that. I think I saw somewhere you did just shy of 200, I'll call it transactions last year. Probably a split. Go ahead.
No, yeah, it was 197 deals. It wasn't like a buy and a sell. It was an actual deal. We're not just in Fresno. We're in multiple markets in California, and we entered Vegas as well. So we are in multiple markets. A lot of the external markets we're in, we do kind of virtually, and we wholesale most of those for the most part. But yeah, so I mean, my business is made up of, we got a handful of acquisitions people. We have 4 lead managers answering the phones. We have 2 project managers. We have a couple of admin staff, a dispo guy. So we're a full-fledged company. I'm at the point in my business now where I don't see the houses. I couldn't tell you what cross streets they're on. We did a deal together. I think we sold a deal to your wife.
Yes.
You didn't even deal with me on that transaction.
Never even called you. I thought about it. I'm like, nope, I'm going to do this the right way.
So I'm in a good place in my business where I have a really, really good team that has worked really hard to make our business successful and grow over the last handful of years. And so yeah, I mean, that's essentially where we're at. What I pride myself in is I've found people I can really put my faith in and, count on to get things to the finish line. And they're doing a good job of that. So I get to spend my time giving back and doing wonderful shows like this and the podcasts and that kind of thing, instead of getting into the minutia of the day to day.
Yeah. And for the folks watching this, Don really means it. I mean, I've gone to see him a couple of times. I even brought a family friend who was kind of thinking at the business. And what we did in that conversation is we actually saved him a bunch of money. He decided this wasn't for him. Right. And I think you got that sense. But, that 15-minute conversation could have saved him $100,000. Right. And so I'll be appreciative for that forever. My wife will be appreciative forever for that short conversation. So thank you again. And the reason I wanted to have this conversation is because, I think I saw again in a post you put out yesterday or the day before, is you're doing it right this time. Mm-hmm. Right. And you've already rattled off your team. You're in multiple markets, clearly successful. But let's rewind the clock, right? It wasn't always this way. You rode the wave. I'll call it through 2008. 9, right? We're in a very nice position, but it wasn't kind of built the right way. And I think this is important to acknowledge and it'd be the open book, because there are some friends that we know and probably lots of people around the country that are in a similar spot in 2019, where if things roll over, they
Mhm.
might get caught. So let's see if we can't, save some folks by talking about what kind of transpired in that time frame, if you don't mind.
Yeah, you allude to the fact that I started back, pre-crash, and the money was real easy back then. If you took longer on a project and went over budget, you actually made more money.
Hmm.
It was crazy. You could throw a rock at a house and make a profit. Everybody was a real estate investor. Everybody owned multiple houses. Everybody
Yeah.
owned rentals. Um, and I really thought it was me. I thought everything I touched turned to gold. I had nice cars. I had nice things. I was spending the money as fast as it was coming in. I opened a restaurant and nightclub. I was working on a sunglass line. I had multiple offices. I had a real estate company, mortgage company, property management company. A lot of things I'm seeing people do now, honestly.
Yeah.
I was over leveraged and underprepared for any kind of shift in the market. And I was born and bred, like I said, in a market that really is the worst market you can start in. Even this market isn't as crazy as that market was.
Agreed.
So I was naive and I was foolish. And when the market turned, I didn't react to it properly. I wasn't able to react to it properly, and I proceeded to lose everything. So and I went so broke that I was literally going to the gas station with quarters, buying a gallon of gas at a time, going to the grocery store with a calculator. I mean, I went probably broker than I should have because I went into a depression. I thought real estate had cost me everything. I just went into survival mode. And, a few things in my life opened my eyes to getting back into real estate. One of them was that I couldn't get a job anywhere. I tried. I really tried. Everybody gives me these props like, oh, you got back into it, good for you, and no, that's not how it was. Like, I tried to get a job and no one would hire me. I tried to go a different direction and it didn't work. And when I had no options left, I had to look in the mirror and go, what are you good at? And I was
Yeah.
good at identifying a deal and I was good at raising private money.
Yeah.
So I got back into it. And this time, my philosophy, my thought process is, just run a real business, be conservative on the model, on the time, on the leverage, so just, build a good team. Don't be a bottleneck, all those things, the mistakes I made. Right. I drive now I have a Chevy Silverado I just bought. I pay cash for the stuff that I buy so no one can take it away. I don't need a Lamborghini. I don't need a BMW. And for me, it's just about building generational wealth and changing the legacy of my family. It's not about being a rock star. Like you see them, you see it all over Facebook. And some of these guys, I've met them, they are great guys, but they want to fly in private jets and drive fancy cars and look like a rock star. And I hope to God the market doesn't change on them, because if it does, then their whole world is going to change in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and people, I hope you're listening to this, right? Again, Don is putting it out there. I saw lots of people. I saw people worth $10 million
Yeah.
lose it all in 9 or 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
When the dominoes fall, you're over leveraged. You don't react immediately.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't stop it. It's destined to zero and faster than you want it to be.
Yeah.
So again, there's a couple of things you said. I'm trying to take notes as fast as you throw these gems out there. One of the things that you mentioned that I want to go back and hit is, not only are you doing it differently, but there's a quote you had is, you're running a real business.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're running a real business now, right, you're running processes, procedures, teams, everybody has their piece. You're now not seeing houses, right, as we shared earlier.
Right.
If we go back to, let's just pick on 2008. If it wasn't a real business, what was it? Was it a hobby? Was it just, what was it then if it wasn't a real business?
Well, it was an illusion.
An illusion. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, there's no other way to really say it. Like right now, the difference is now. Before, it was, I was chasing every shiny object, every opportunity out there. It didn't matter whether I had money in the bank, because I had money coming in.
Yep.
So I could feed the beast. And I wasn't worried about capital reserves. I wasn't worried about stability. I wasn't worried about being over leveraged, because I thought it was never going to end. And now it's like, I'm big on, I borrow properly. I don't over leverage. I don't put any of my money in deals. I work with private money lenders who fund me 100% of the deals, because I don't want to be cash poor and property rich. If something turns, I can't react.
Mm-hmm.
So I keep reserves in my organization. I pay myself a paycheck versus just taking all the money and running. Stability, right?
Yeah.
I can sleep at night. My bills are paid. I don't have anything to worry about. And whenever a shiny object comes my way, I know this is the lane I'm good at. This is where I'm good at making money. Now, if there's something else that comes over here where I can be good at it, it doesn't affect this, then I may go there. But 98% of the stuff that flashes before my eyes is something that's going to distract me from my core competency. and take me away from the things that are really making me money and create huge risk in my life. And for me, again, it goes back to, I want to create generational wealth. You're buying rentals, trying to create a legacy, right? My
Yep.
thing is, can I create a company that creates that residual income and legacy for me, as part of my strategy as well, right? So, and that's what I'm trying to do, is create that health and stability and residual from an organization that will run with or without me.
Yeah, and I think the illusion is the perfect word, because I was kind of
Mhm.
searching for what could we hit people with, because I
Right,
see Facebook, right? The Lamborghinis, the everybody. Now it's the private jets, right?
right,
Everybody's trying to freaking follow Grant Cardone, and I'm sure they're leasing time or whatever they're doing. But people, stop it. It's an
yeah,
illusion, right?
right,
Well, you're in a seller's market. It does happen. The 5-year runs, I get it, but please create
mhm.
reserves, back away a little bit, de-risk, de-leverage, do a little bit less deals, and you'll be better off for it long term, right? It won't evaporate because illusions disappear, right? The
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
My heroes in this business, my heroes in any business. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not just by nature. So my business is real estate, but I'm an entrepreneur. So across the entrepreneurship spectrum, my heroes are not the people who basically make the most. Basically, it's the ones that keep the most. Those are the
Yes.
people that I idolize, right? It's the ones that create a business and a business model where they're changing the legacy of their family and they're holding on to the assets and the money, not the ones who are flashy and flash in the pan and who are going to disappear the first speed bump they hit.
Yeah, we see so many. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is, but I bet you it'll be more than half. If
Right,
this rollover is even a quarter of what you and I went through,
right,
done. Right.
right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So the other thing you've talked about that I just want to hit again, because you dropped so many gems that I put down, is last time during the illusion phase, you assumed you had the Midas touch and thus
Mhm.
started doing lots of things, i.e., the restaurant. Yeah, sure, restaurants
Right.
have real estate, but that's not really it. A sunglass line, this, that.
Mhm.
And this time you're like, no, my core competencies is identifying deals and securing private money. That's your
Right.
lane. Um, People, realize what he's telling you.
Mhm.
Stay in your lane. The thing I'm fearful of is some people have got the systems and process in place to be good at, we'll just say, wholesaling.
Mhm.
But I don't know if it's ego or boredom or what it is, but they're like, I'm going to do something else. And the
Mhm.
machine's still working, but once they take their eye off it for like 90 days, that machine has sand in it and gears get broken up and people do this and that. And then they can't focus on many things. So speak to that kind of boredom. How do you help people understand that, no, keep doing what you're doing, it's working?
Well, I mean, again, I'm an entrepreneur by trade. I'm extremely ADD. I think anybody who's an entrepreneur is ADD, and I like to be challenged.
Mhm.
That's something that I deal with on a regular basis. And again, shiny objects pop up before me, and I take a second, and go, should I? Could I? Would I? Um, but I've learned the hard way to stay where I'm at in my organization. What I will say is, for me, I'm trying to remove myself from my organization. And if that's something you want to do as an entrepreneur, I'm not gonna knock you over the head for that,
Mhm.
but you just got to do it right. Like if you're a bottleneck in your organization and all decisions stop with you, and then you start chasing something else, your
Mhm.
whole team is going to fall apart because
Yes.
no decisions being made. If you don't have key people that you can trust to get things to the finish line in place, your whole world's going to fall apart. There is no way that I'm going to leave my organization until I find the right COO that's going to be able to run things better than me.
Mhm.
Right? Somebody smarter, somebody better that can run it better than me. At that point in time, then I'll leave the overall day-to-day operations, but I will still be checking in. I'll still be looking at
Oh yeah.
reports. I'll still be managing, just at a different level.
Mhm.
So I won't ever stop watching because that's a fool's errand.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
not good.
yeah.
That's not good.
So
Um, Great stuff. I guess one other thing I want to talk about, given this last year, we'll call it 18, you did a transition or an addition. I'm not sure how you want to look
right.
at it, from being predominantly a rehabber to
Mhm.
adding wholesaling to your bag of tricks. Um, how was that leap? Did anything surprise you? Was it kind of all the same stuff, or did anything shock you?
Yeah, I mean, they're not the same business.
Ah, okay.
Wholesaling is, you're marketing in this business as a whole. You're a marketer first, right? Wholesaling, you're really a marketer first.
Hmm.
You're marketing to the sellers, you're marketing to the buyers, and there is a lot of quick capital.
Hmm.
Um, rehabbing. You really have to manage cash flow and people at a different level. You could go broke real fast with rehabbing if you're not borrowing properly and not running things properly, not managing timelines and overages. So the way you look at them, the way you approach them are different in some aspects. The other thing I was fearful of is if we went for the wholesaling model with my team, take the easy route. We got a buyer that'll pay us 10 grand to walk away, or we can stay with that seller a little longer and negotiate them deeper, make it a rehab and make more money. So there are challenges when you're trying to do both. And, we knew that going into it. Where what surprised me was I thought it'd be really easy to balance both businesses. And we just wholesale what didn't fit our box, and what fit our box, we'd rehab.
Okay.
But then, I got a dispo guy to hit the ground running. He's doing a really good job. He's able to get us numbers for some of our wholesale transactions that we were planning on rehab, or some of our rehabs that we were planning on doing. He could be able to get us a wholesale number that was really close to what we planned on making rehab wise.
Right.
And they're like, okay, well, we'll just sell it, because why not take the easy money?
Yep.
But then what happens is my project manager's going, hey, I need more projects. My private money's going, hey, keep my money busy. So it's trying to find that balance and maximizing profitability with wholesaling and keeping the rehab machine going healthy and strong. And when we actually messed up on that in the middle of the summer, when Justin, my dispo guy, got his feet under him and really hit the ground running successfully.
Yeah.
Knocked a lot of stuff out of the park when it came to the assignment fees we're getting. Yeah. And we wholesaled a lot more than we probably should have at that point in time. And I almost stalled out my rehab machine.
Oh, wow.
And so I had to kind of get that momentum back going. So it's a balance to try to do both. And I'm not trying to make it sound hard, but it's just, that from that perspective is you really got to be good at one before you try to do the other. It's like you be a wholesaler or a rehabber and stay in your lane until you really master and get systems and processes in place. If you're trying to do both, there's just a lot of landmines you can step on that can really cause you, some sleepless nights if you're not careful.
Yeah. It's clearly very big in systems and processes and procedures and
Right.
all of that. And again, I'm guessing they're different. Obviously, managing what a flip's 100-day timeline or rehab. Usually
we want to be in and out of them in 100 days. That's our goal ultimately.
Right.
We run all our numbers based on a 4-month scenario. We want to turn the money 3 times in a year, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, wow. 3 times a year.
Yeah.
All right. Now you know why you private money guys like you.
Yeah.
when you annualize 3 flips a year with one set of money, that's a good number.
Yes.
Congratulations. Now we know why you have lots of private money coming your direction. So that's
right.
Very good for you. On the wholesale fees, I'm guessing it's just the standard 10, 15 days, kind of lock it up, get rid of it, move on.
Yeah. I mean, some of them are faster than that. Some of them take a little bit longer, but on average, about
less than 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's hence the choices, right? If you keep spitting out 30 days and you don't start reloading the rehab machine, it can stall out. I see what you're talking about. Right.
Yeah. Right.
I do have a question I've never asked you, because you've talked about legacy a couple of different times and family and changing the future. Is your wife involved in the business? I know I've seen she's doing some entrepreneur stuff for the first time, but is she a part of this at all? And have you actually brought your kids into the fold yet? Or maybe they're just too young at the moment.
My wife is not involved in my business. My wife is not an entrepreneur by nature. She was a school teacher. Her dad was a school teacher. Her mom was a school secretary. Her aunt was a school bus driver. Her cousins are teachers.
She's seeing a trend.
Yeah. She came from a family that wanted the paycheck, and I totally screwed with her whole system of belief and everything else when we got married, because I was like, I'm not going to get a job. I'm going to go start a business.
Yeah. Hi, honey.
Yeah. And she's rode with me for better or for worse through the best times and the worst times of this. So it's funny, because the second time I looked at her, I said, I'm going to start flipping houses again. I really thought she was going to fight me, because she fought me the first time. And this time around, she didn't. And we did an interview together on the Flip Dog podcast, episode 104, if anybody wants to go listen to it, where we talk about all the struggles. And I asked her that, why didn't you fight me on it? She just said, I knew that was what you're good at and what you wanted to do. And so this time around, she's been more supportive. She's actually now on her own entrepreneurial journey. Mm-hmm. She's selling beauty products, and she's doing some part-time over the internet teaching English to children in China. And she's also a part-time teacher. She teaches first grade. So she's doing a lot, and she's kind of joined me in the entrepreneur journey, but it's her own journey.
Sure.
And I try to advise her, but she wants to, she doesn't always take my advice, which is fine
Yeah.
because I wasn't taking anybody's advice when I was starting my journey either. So,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. And I've listened to that episode 104 on Flip Talk twice now, once with my wife, once by myself.
Yeah.
And if you're watching this video, and a lot of people watch this, they go, hey, how do I get my significant other on board?
Mhm.
I think listen to a Flip Talk 104, episode 104 is, I would listen to it first by yourself because it's real talk, right?
Mhm.
Paying for, gas with quarters and things like that. So, but hearing her perspective
Yeah.
and her authenticity was
Mhm.
awesome. So she deserves a huge shout out.
She does. And so for those of you that are looking for it, if you don't find the episode number, it's called The Real Struggle. And that's the title of the show. So, and it really, it was fun to have her in and have her on and have her tell that story. Cause I can talk about, what we went through till I'm blue in the face. And that could just be me trying to, tell a story. Right. But, to have her in and have her perspective was really cool to have. And we've had some side conversations about, stuff, I'll say I'm telling this story when I'm talking on stage. She's like, what about this? What about that? And what about this? I won't get through that story. I'll lose it.
Yeah. I don't want stories that make me cry. That's not good.
So, but yeah. And then you asked about my kids. I have a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, and then a 5-year-old daughter.
Okay. All right.
My kids, I'm trying to get them involved in entrepreneurship and things. They're still a little young. They prefer Fortnite and Xbox. My son's turning 15 in this summer, and one of the things I'm going to do with them, I've already told them both. If you want a car, I'm not buying it for you.
Yeah.
You have to identify a project. You have to set a budget. You have to pitch the private money lender. You have to manage the project, and whatever you make, you can buy your car with.
Ooh.
And that's my deal with them. And so I'll be in the background, making sure nothing goes wrong. But the idea is whatever they do in life, what they learn from doing that, right? Pitching private money, selling somebody and believing in you, managing people, identifying, what's going to be a profitable, solution and what's not. All those things are skills they can take in anything they do for the rest of their life. And that's what's important to me. Whether or not they follow my footsteps, I don't care. Be whatever you want to be, whatever makes you happy. I'm good with that. But I still want you to have the skills to be able to be successful in that. So that's my goal.
And I think that's a goal, and frankly, a goal all parents, dad or mom should have for their kids. I think this, I don't know, the overarching mentality that I was raised with was go to school, get a good education, get a good job, make a lot of money so you can buy nice things, is the wrong mindset. At least the wrong mindset for many. Maybe not everyone, right? If you're going to be a doctor or a lawyer, it takes advanced degrees. I get it. It wasn't the right. I have a master's degree, and I would have loved somebody to grab me by the neck at 15, just like your son, and say, hey, go do X, Y, and Z. And at the end of it, you get a car, right? If it kind of works out. So what you're going to do for them is awesome. And I hope others watch this and kind of answer those questions, because going to college doesn't have to be the only answer. Right. No. Being an entrepreneur is not a dirty word.
It's not.
No, it's more, it can be more fulfilling, and it needs to be the right person. It's not right for everyone. Right. I totally get it, but it needs to be okay, people. We need to raise our kids. And that's one of the reasons I did this book report challenge. That read this, this book was, I would have liked my dad or my mom to give me the book and say, hey, read this and I'll give you $20. Mm-hmm. Right. I'd have read it. I didn't read a book in high school. I didn't read a single book in high school because I was a C student, and my parents said, get a C, you don't get beaten up. You get less than a C, you get beaten up. Okay. Guess what? I got lots of C's, kind of like simple that way. And we need to do something different. We just need to show our kids that there's a different way. So I like what you're doing, and hope others follow that inspiration.
Well, I'll take it one step further. My oldest son's a reader. And so like he does things that gets himself in trouble. He lost his Xbox and his phone a while back, and I made him read You Can't Hurt Me, the book You Can't Hurt Me, to get his phone back. And then I had him read what's the Navy SEALs book?
You Can't Hurt Me. Yeah.
Yeah, You Can't Hurt Me, but there's one more. There's a one about leadership, and I can't remember the name. I wish I could drop the name right now, but I can't remember it. So Extreme Ownership.
Yep.
That's what it is. So I made him read Extreme Ownership to get his Xbox back.
Nice.
And he doesn't understand the lessons that he got from that right now. He doesn't. But one day those are going to settle in. That's, I think, it's like you said, we're not all created equally. Some of us are
Yes.
entrepreneurs. Some of us want to be managers and work for somebody. And that all of that's okay. Some of us want to be a doctor and go to school, be a lawyer. All of that's okay. But what's not okay is us not being educated in finances.
Mm-hmm.
What's not okay is us not being educated in managing people.
Uh-huh.
I was a general manager for Black Angus for a number of years. I was a horrible manager of people because I was not educated in that. Had I been educated early on in how to manage and how to lead and how to do this and that, my journey of rise and fall would have been a lot shorter in life. It's taken me 20 plus years of failure to get where I'm at now, and figure out how to lead people, how to get out of the way, how to do all these things. And I wish I would have learned those things early on. I'm trying to give that to my children.
Yeah. And you clearly will. I've seen from afar what you're doing. I saw how you helped one of my family friends, and if that's just a tenth of what you're giving your children, they're going to be so well armed as they enter adulthood. So congratulations. You should feel good about that. Back to your business. You mentioned earlier in the intro that you're in additional markets. You talked about additional California markets and just entering Vegas and wholesaling, all of that. How was that kind of decision? Was it just, hey, we're dominating Fresno, not enough inventory, my team's big, or what was the kind of impetus to go to additional markets?
Opportunities.
Okay.
They're markets that I've either lived in or somebody in my team has lived in, and we knew the opportunities there. We knew the markets. I had individuals there that I knew would be successful in an acquisitions role or
Okay.
that kind of thing. It just made sense. Some of it was, testing. I was big on testing marketing last year. We sent out 1.2 million postcards. And
Whoa.
one of the reasons why we sent out so many postcards is because we split tested everything we did. Did we change the postcard? Did we change the list? Did we change, the time of year? How many touches? We were trying to figure out what really worked in direct mail. And so part of it was just, can I enter this market successfully? A lot of people say that, competition and this and that. And I was like, can I get traction, in that market? And I wanted to prove either I could or I couldn't. And
Right.
I learned that with the right people on, right boots on the ground, the right marketing strategy, you can be very successful in competitive markets. Takes a little testing to learn what's going to work in that market and what's not. And so part of it was just, we had opportunity there. And part of it was, I wanted to see if we could pull it off and what it would take to do it.
So would you say, knowing someone, either someone you trust or boots on the ground, however you want to frame that, that's kind of priority number one. You wouldn't just go to, throw a dartboard and go, oh, I'm going to go to Dallas. It's, hey, I know someone there, somebody I trust, I already have a relationship with, and then you build around them. Is that kind of the model? Or did you go, hey, this market's hot, I should go look at it?
Well, like Vegas, basically I wanted to go into that market. So we found the boots on the ground,
Okay.
so,
All right.
so it's not, what comes first, chicken or the egg. It kind of went both ways.
Okay.
One situation, we had somebody there that I knew would be good at acquisition. So it made sense. Let's, figure out what works in that market and blow it up. In another market, I wanted to go to it. I lived in Vegas for a while, and
Right.
it's a 45-minute flight from Fresno. I can fly in the morning, fly home in the evening.
Yep.
So, and who doesn't want an excuse to go to Vegas?
Yeah. Amen.
So that one was, okay, let's find somebody we feel like is going to be successful and then build the systems and processes around them. So, but yeah, I'm really big about markets I can control. Like I got to have some in my team, like the Bay. We're in some cities in the Bay Area, and one of the gentlemen that works in our office grew up in the Bay and knows what street, what side of the street you have to be on. It could be a difference of $50,000+ in the house value on the school district, right? And that could be divided by a street, and he knows that. So, being able to have somebody on my team that has that knowledge makes sense for us to be able to enter that market. So it's kind of a combination of things. Like part of what I do is gut and desire to win and just drive. And part of it is, we have some control. Like again, Vegas, I can fly in the morning and fly out in the evening. So, as we build more momentum there, I can really focus on building a team there without having to be away from home for long periods of time.
Yeah.
So, that's kind of how I look at it.
So I'm curious about this one. As you look forward, this year, next year, year after, right, the future, where is Don Costa in that? Is your goal this year, next year to kind of be fully out, like the chairman of the board who's looking at reports and managing from that level? Or is it, no, I have to double the markets we're in and then I'll look at it? Or where does that kind of fit in your mind, do you think?
Well, we as a company as a whole, we are looking at trying to do more with less. So we're trying
Okay.
right now. We're looking at our organization, figuring out, okay, how can we accomplish more with marketing without spending as much money? How can we, accomplish more within our organization without spending, as much money? And so we're looking at being a lot more resourceful in what we do,
Okay.
maximizing profitability and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
We are in the hunt for a COO right now. I have a specific personality profile I'm looking at, and a specific type of person I want to work with in that role. And so I think we either just put the job ad out or getting ready to. And once we find that person, whether it's next month or next year, we'll get them in and start getting them trained to run it, where I'll remove myself completely. And at that point, I think we got more with information. I'll do more with trying to impact businesses and change lives. I have
Yeah.
a podcast I'm working on right now. We got about 20 episodes recorded called Surviving Me, which is a passion project podcast. It will never be monetized in any way, where we talk to veterans with PTSD and the stuff they're going through and the struggles they're going through and the services. We talk to people who are providing services for them. And we're going to try to impact lives there. The biggest fight you have to fight is the battle you fight with yourself when you get home, right? And so the show is titled Surviving Me. That's one of the passion projects we're doing. I'm working on a podcast called Stand in the Fire, which is going to be entrepreneurial based as well. So the content is going to continue to develop and flow. And then on top of that, my ultimate goal is to build a team outside of my current organization that focuses on large apartment communities and commercial projects. So that's the legacy right there. That's where I want to go. Large apartment communities and to commercial projects.
Very, very cool. Well, I look forward to your passion projects. I know you're impacting lives already. I've seen what you do with Flip Talk. Even people
Right.
just around it are enamored with what you're putting out there. Why don't you go ahead and share with, how people can get a hold of you, follow you, if you're looking for anything, all your, basically this is for you to advertise how people can follow Don Costa, because you do so much for so many.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, fliptalk.com is our website. It's currently being redeveloped, so it's going to be changing real soon. But you can definitely find information there. We're about ready to load up a bunch of resources on the resource page for you, to help you with your business. You can reach out to me at don@fliptalk.com. We have the Flip Talk podcast show on just about every platform out there. We have Flip Talk's Rookie Playbook, which I co-host with a gentleman by the name of Ryan Shalaba, and we literally started at week 1 and we went, what do you do if you have this crazy idea and you want to invest in real estate? And we're taking you through 52 weeks. We got about 7 more episodes to record. And on that one, they'll take you through your first year. And yeah, Facebook. I have a group, Flip Talk Podcast. I have a page, and I'm just about everywhere now.
Yeah.
So find me where you can. Even YouTube. We have a channel that we haven't done a whole lot with. You search Don Costa REI, you can find it. You can subscribe to that. We're about ready to release. We've been recording like crazy. We're about to release a ton of content. So
yeah. So folks, hopefully you've seen what I'm talking about. Don Costa is the real deal. Very humble. He, as promised, rode the wave up, down, and tried to give you advice. If you think you have the Midas touch, listen to this video, right? Because
right.
you need to check yourself.
Definitely.
Right. And, talking about making it a real business versus an illusion, there were so many nuggets in this. I just want to thank you, Don, for giving me your time. Your friendship is always welcome. And thank you for everything you do. You truly are changing lives, Don.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.